Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, an introduction to our new CounselLink Priority Reporting Support program. Today's agenda will include an overview of the Priority Reporting Support program, reporting tips and success stories, plus examples of dashboards that support strategic initiatives. My name is Kelly McNamee. I'm in charge of Customer Success Marketing for LexisNexis and will be your host for today's webinar. Before we begin, I have a few housekeeping items to review. The webinar is being conducted in listen-only mode. In order to ask questions during today's webinar, please utilize the questions box in the GoToWebinar panel. We will save some time at the end of today's presentation to address questions. We expect this webinar to last approximately 45 minutes. We're also recording today's session, and you'll receive a link along with a copy of the slides within a week. I'd like to introduce today's CounselLink reporting team presenters. Dustin Wilson is Reporting Specialist with Customer Care. Amy Nelson is the Learning Experience Principal with Customer Education. And Chris Sakunis, who is Strategic Consulting Director for CounselLink. Dustin, I'd like to start with you to provide us with a program overview and information on getting in touch with the new dedicated reporting team.
Thanks, Kelly. Good afternoon or morning, I guess, depending on where you're located. As Kelly said, my name is Dustin Wilson. I am a reporting specialist with CounselLink. And what we've done here is we've created a new group to help client users with our reporting system. So here at CounselLink, we're always looking to increase the value we provide to our corporate customers. We understand that being able to quickly and effectively use the reporting capabilities is a key component to CounselLink's strategic value. With this in mind, we have created a group that is solely dedicated to supporting report issues. We are focused on understanding, assisting, guiding, and empowering our customers to strive for optimization using reporting. So what is the Priority Reporting Support Team? As I said, the team will focus on reporting issues, and we're also going to offer guidance to customers, helping to empower them with the reporting knowledge. What we're striving for is to deliver quick, accurate reporting, and we hope to expand reporting knowledge on all fronts. Here you're going to see these are the bios of the three members of the initial team. I'm not going to go through and read everything on these. Copies of this will be sent out later, so if you want to review our credentials, feel free. What I can say is that, in fact, you've probably worked with some of these people in the past on some issues. But what I can say about the members of this team is we were carefully selected based upon our backgrounds and to get a comprehensive knowledge base specifically around reporting. My specific background is in business analytics, and I have been using business intelligence tools such as MicroStrategy, which is the basis of our reporting system, for the better part of a decade now. Josh Baker has been with CounselLink for a number of years now, and he has been able to he's been really able to master the front end and become very good with working with clients and their issues. Susan Hall joined us in 2015, and she actually came over from a client, from a customer. So she is front end experience from a user's perspective. So we think all total that we have nearly every aspect of CounselLink covered, and we really feel like our skill sets intertwine perfectly to try to cover all forms of reporting. So that leads me to how to get a hold of us. So how to get help from Priority Reporting Support Team. So as some of you have already may noticed, when you first click on the Reports tab of CounselLink, there is a new link at the top of the page labeled Contact Reporting Help. You can see that in the screenshot there. What this does is, after clicking that, it will create a form email automatically, already pre-populated, and actually has the little message there that you see in the screenshot, all addressed out, ready to go to us. All you have to do is add any important information regarding your issues and go ahead and send it in. This particular email link will automatically create a ticket that routes directly to the Priority Reporting Support team. And that way, the new direct route will cut down on the middlemen. It cuts down on the time it takes to get the ticket to the person who actually needs to do something with it, and hopefully speed up your process. So we do ask that requests that come in through this mailbox be strictly reporting issues, so that way we can keep the mailbox clear of any issues that aren't pertaining to reporting, so we don't clog it up. So, and while I'm here, I figured this is a good time. We'll give you some quick tips from the reporting team. First item on the list, it mentions our standard reports. In doing this, and we did a small pilot program of this, I was actually amazed to see how many people were not aware of the extent of standard reports that we have in our system. Currently, there are over 60 standard reports in the system, and all but 2 of them, users are able to go in and modify and customize those standard reports for their own usage. The 2 that can be are the pending invoice and detailed invoice. Those are a little more custom, but all of the other standard reports, you can go in if you want to change the way a report is filtered or the type of date that it's using. You can make those changes, but you already have a good base report already created for you. So there's a lot of good value in that. The next item on the list is the dynamic filters. Those are a way to set a filter on a report for a specific time frame, such as previous 7 days, previous 30 days, last month, year to date, that kind of thing. What the filter does is it calculates the time frame based upon today's date and then filters the report as needed. So if you ran a report every Monday morning and had previous 7 days, your report would only contain the previous week's worth of data. So that especially is good for subscriptions or anything of the sort where you want to just have the report calculate its own date and you don't have to prompt anything. Third one on the list is shared reports. Shared reports folder, it's a place where reports can be placed so that all users can access them. Users can modify the reports, but when they try to save them, it will actually prompt them to save it in a different location, keeping the original intact, so almost like a template. This is done so that anything important, or for instance, a custom built report, paid report, anything like that, can be available to all the users without the risk of the reports being modified or deleted. And the last tip on here, dashboards. Dashboards are a great way to paint a visual picture of your data, graphs, charts, grids, heat maps. There's a number of different ways to present data in a useful fashion, and we can assist at the Priority Reporting Support team with setting up dashboards using standard objects. And I believe Chris will be going over the custom side of dashboards in just a little bit. So this is more helpful tips on submitting your issue. These are some things that we really do need in order to expedite your requests. So we need the report name, the report location, who is running the report is actually quite critical. Many users have different access levels and permissions levels. So one user may not get the same data back that another user will get. The report creator, in case there is some complicated logic in there. So it's always nice to get a background on that kind of thing. If there's any kind of criteria, prompts, parameters, date ranges, for instance, date ranges, any kind of filters that were applied, any of the logic that was used to create the issue to begin with, it's helpful for us to have that so we can recreate the issue and then troubleshoot it after that. Obviously, a description of the issue, this can be just your standard terms, just what's going on. Report won't run, invoice missing, what have you. Just a quick description. Your intent, this is more on the new report creation side. What are you trying to get at? Sometimes we will work with users who will get into the middle of something and all of a sudden realize that they're headed down the wrong path, that their actual intent is to go down a completely different road. So by talking these things through and by putting them down on paper, it may help to realize that, oh wait, that's not actually what I'm looking for. Maybe we're looking for this. And then any kind of error message that you may receive, if you can grab a quick screenshot of that, that is always helpful. So by including as much information as possible in the beginning of the support process, we can get started on your issue faster, quite frankly, and that can help speed up your resolution time. So any of these things, obviously, only if they're applicable. Some of these things will not be, but if you know of this particular information included in the ticket, that'll be less questions we'll have to ask you later. So here's what to expect from the priority reporting support team. So the team is manned. The three of us are in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and we will be addressing issues as quickly as we can during those time frames. Again, the timely feedback and resolution of reporting issues is truly what we're after. We're also here to provide guidance on best practices. So as I was saying before, sometimes the intent of a report is not what's being displayed on the screen. So sometimes after hearing someone describe what they're actually trying to get to, we may have some avenues to try. We may have, as it says, an easier or better solution. Or again, we may go back to those standard reports. We may already have something that could work for you. You also should expect to receive the continued focus from the dedicated support consultants team, as well as our L2 teams. Any of those traditional channels of support will still be there. And the help me questions. What we've noticed is in the middle of it, we essentially have three types of tickets. We have a help me ticket, a train me, and a do it for me. And we have found that usually there's a little bit of everything in there. So that's what this group is going to try to tackle. In the middle of finding an issue, if we see a good learning experience, we will reach out, try to get you on the phone, and go ahead and show you what we did, as opposed to just doing it and telling you it's done. We'd like to pass that knowledge on to you as well. Go ahead and work through issues, help work with basic report creations, modifications, stuff like that. So go ahead and empower you to be able to, do some of this stuff yourself instead of waiting on us. In the long run, once you get comfortable with the system, things will begin to pick up a lot quicker. Here's some more. These are actually some of the, it's labeled as helpful tips, but so these are actually some of the success stories that we've had from our pilot program. Some of the things we were able to help people do, save time. So we had some users that would take, every Monday, they would run a report, export it into Excel, make a bunch of formatting changes, layout changes, and then package up that report for their GC and send it off. But every week they were spending over an hour just getting this report created. Within about a 30-minute time frame, we were able to sit down, add the formatting that she needed directly into CounselLink reporting, and we ended up setting up that report on a subscription. So now there is no work to be done. Every Monday morning, they receive the report in their email boxes, formatted and stratified exactly the way they're looking for it. And now that particular user gets an hour a week back to do something else. So we've run into that on a number of occasions. Leveraging standard reports. I think I've mentioned it a few times now. There's 60+ reports out there. All have been QA'd. All objects work together. And there's a really good basis of information out there available to everyone. All of these standard reports, again, except for 2, they can be modified and customized in any way that you'd like them to. Then save the copy of that report down into your personal My Reports folder so that you can use it at a future date. But by leveraging those standard reports, you're already getting, if a standard report contains 80% of the information that you're looking for, making those modifications to get that additional 20 isn't that big a deal. Optimize. Use reports that further simplifies larger data sets. We've run into a few clients where they would like to pull 10 years worth of data out of the system, which if anybody's ever tried to do that, it can be very time consuming, and sometimes the system just won't do it. So being able to look at a large data set and come up with ways to summarize in meaningful ways to you and your clients and your companies, we've had some good success with that. Visualizing and highlighting data. There are a lot of things that can be done with documents and dashboards. In particular, one client I worked with just the other day, she had a document based upon a report, and she wanted to add conditional formatting into that document so that anytime a number changed, it would be highlighted within the document. And when it was printed out, they could see that conditional formatting and all of these type of things. We also added graphs, and everything that we did, it just helps visualize, highlight, and really pinpoint the data that you're actually trying to get to. And of course, empowering users. As I've said before, this is a safe place to ask questions with the ease of the email system. If you just have a simple procedural question or a usability question, how do I change the font on my report? Even as simple as that. Shoot off an email. We'll get back to you. We'll let you know. That is our goal. We'd like to empower you to be able to use the system and get out of it really what you're expecting. So here's some client quotes that we've gotten, not just on reporting, but on CounselLink as well. And we have received some very good feedback on the pilot program. We're going to be the 3 of us, the 3 members of the Priority Reporting Support team. We are here to help you, and we are looking to reach out, do outreach, phone calls, conference calls, whatever it needs to happen in order to solve your issue or get you the data that you need. That's what we're prepared to do. So that was my presentation on everything, and I believe now we'll be going to Amy for the training sessions.
Hi, everybody. This is Amy Nelson. I'm the Learning Experience Principal for CounselLink Training, which means that I lead all the design and delivery for the instructor-led training effort for CounselLink. And I actually recognize quite a few names in the attendee list. And if I'm not mistaken, I think about 4 or 5 of you have already attended one of these classes. So we're already getting out there and using these. So to further support this reporting effort and to give everyone kind of a constant touchstone to some training on this, so you can be self-supported with training as far as doing some things yourself instead of going out there and always having to call support. We'd like to get you to be self-sufficient, just like Dustin said. I have extensive experience on the user level with reporting, so I use it like you all use it, and can answer lots of questions about shortcuts and how to get things done. We are now offering our reporting classes, instead of just having those as classes that you attend when you are implementing CounselLink. We now offer those once a month. So usually on the 2nd or 3rd week of the month, on a Friday afternoon, we have our reporting classes that we offer. You can just log on to lexisnexis.com/university. That's our educational hub, and that's where you can find our classes. You can see a little picture of the website here, and there's a little link at the top called Current Schedule. There's also a course catalog there. If you choose CounselLink Corporate, you can find the classes there. You just find the class and the date that you want to attend, and you click that little register button right beside it. I would follow up right before the class with some connection information and a link to me so that you could ask any questions ahead of time. Of course, that is where you sign up, but what do we offer? So what we're offering are our 101 and 102 classes for free once a month. The Reporting 101 class is an introduction to the standard reports. It also gives you a basis for all the basic knowledge you need to go out and start running reports for yourself and making some simple modifications. That's also the class where we would cover how to set up subscription. Now, for beginners, 101 sets the foundational concepts for all other reporting functionality. But even experienced users, I've had users come back after they have used reporting for quite some time. They come back to the 101 class and they pick up a lot of extra little details, a lot of tips and tricks, if you will. Reporting 102 is the other class that we offer, and that's going to provide us with an overview of the key concepts around creating reports from scratch. You really should attend a 101 class before attending a 102, just simply so you can have the basic knowledge there. These classes are introductory level, but that really shouldn't stop anybody from attending because we limit these classes to about 12 people each. We haven't had a problem with having them overloaded as of yet. So if we need to open up more spaces, we can. But we try to limit those classes down simply so that everyone has the freedom and the time to ask questions, and we can personalize these classes ever so slightly. These classes have been really well received so far. And like I said, I see a few names on here that people that have already been to one of these classes. One of the best tips that people walk away with, one of the most highly repeated comments that we get is that people don't realize that you can actually use searching as quick reporting. So without ever even going into that reporting module, maybe if you don't want everybody to have a reporting license, maybe your attorneys would like to go and make a quick report, we can use searching now as quick reporting. And if you've ever had a class with me, you know that I much prefer to show you rather than tell you. So I'm going to pull in a little window of CounselLink here and just show you what I'm talking about real quick. And this is kind of my tip for this class. And of course, we do cover this during our classes as well. So if we're doing any of searching, we can automatically turn those into quick reports. So let's just think of a scenario real quick. Maybe just for conversation's sake and an example, we just say, I'd like to pull just a very quick report to show how much I've spent on all my active litigation. So I can do that. I don't even have to go all the way over to reports. I can do that with a search. So I'm going to do a matter search. I'm going to click on that matter tab in the upper left-hand corner, open up that panel. By default, when you enter the search panel, it's going to show me all active matters. So I'm already showing all active matters. Now I want to narrow it down to litigation, and that's just, in my system, I use litigation as a matter type, and so that's what I'm going to narrow mine down to. So if I scroll down just ever so slightly, on the left-hand side, I've got a filter panel, and you can see that matter type is one of my filters. So it's very convenient. It's right there at the top. If you guys have other filters that you would like to use, or you would like to see all the filters that are possible, remember that little edit wheel will help you configure that filter panel. I'm going to click on litigation here. So now I've narrowed it down. Here are all my active litigation matters, and you can see in my table over here that I'm showing like matter number and title in the law office, that sort of thing, but I don't see spend. So I can actually even change the fields that show here. There's another edit wheel for the columns, for the fields. And so if I open that guy up, I can scroll down. I can show approved matters spend. And if I scroll all the way down and click save, now you're going to see my spend on this table. And so now I've got this little nice quick report to show me approved matters spend. And if I scroll down, you can see some of my matters don't have spend yet, but others do. And this is a nice, helpful at a glance look. But what if you'd like to send this out to somebody, present it in a meeting, or just total it up so that you can see it at any time? Well, let's just select them all. There's a box here that lets us select. The little caret right beside us would let us select everything. So select all pages. And then look right beside where we chose the columns we want to show. There's an export button now. I can export these results to Excel. We're going to see a little pop-up down at the bottom left. There's my search results. And as it pops open, here's my report. And just through some very simple edits, I'm going to delete that title column. I'm going to choose the table, scroll all the way down. I can format my table now. Yes, I have headers. And now I've got this wonderful little report here. If I scroll all the way down, I can even add a total line. And there you go, change that total line to currency. And so $1.5 million on my active litigation. And so very quickly, I chose what I wanted to show in the table. I chose my fields, and then I export it to Excel so that I can crunch it here. And it makes a really quick report for very simplistic items like this. And I would say that this is the #1 commented thing that people didn't realize that they could do. We can do this with matters. We can even do it with invoices, creating quick reports, because we can export right out of those search panels. And so that's just a nice little quick tip for everybody, is that using these search panels is really handy for something like that. Now, the one last thing I'll show you here too is that not only did we create that nice Excel report that I could save and send away, right here in the search panel, I can save this search. So my active litigation matters, look all the way up in the upper right-hand corner, there's a Save Search panel. If I click Save Search, I can give this guy a name and save this search onto my home page so that the next time I want to look at this spend, I can just execute the search and export my results very, very quickly. And if you don't know, the Saved Search panel is on that home page. So if we go to the home page, there's a panel called Saved Searches. That's where you would access it and whatever name that you gave it. So that's my quick little tip for you, and probably one of the best received options we have in that class. Just everybody comments on it. And so just to recap just quite a little bit, of course, to support this reporting effort, we're doing the free classes once a month, Reporting 101 and 102, introductory training. But even if you're an experienced user, I would say that you can pick up new things. The classes are small, so you get personal attention, and we register for those through LexisNexis University. We do have something else that we've developed as well, if anyone's ever interested in, and we call that our Explorer series, which leads us to explore these topics a little bit more. So we have Reporting 201, 202, and 203. And what that does is it introduces us to a workshop on reporting, standard reports, creating reports, and our dashboarding function. So we do have those out there. The workshops allow you to get your hands on in class with a trainer supervising, so that it's more of a hands-on class. You are provided a workbook, and they can be done on site or even over the web. Now, the workshops are not a free resource, but they're offered at a very reasonable price. You can always contact your account managers, or you could even reach out to training and we can help you get those arranged if you'd like. So that's where reporting is with training. And of course, if anybody has any questions on any of this, just enter them in the questions panel. We'll get to those here at the end. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Chris, where she can cover some dashboarding topics.
Thank you, Amy, and welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Bakunis, and I'm the Director of Strategic Consulting at CounselLink. And I want to spend a little time today to build some awareness with all of you, or make sure that you're aware of some relatively new reporting capabilities that we have relative to dashboards. So our customers tell us all the time that having a good means of communicating information across the legal department is a real need of theirs. But in the past, creating dashboards and CounselLink reporting has been challenging. Frankly, with the tools that were available, And that meant that many of you haven't been able to get your leadership to use CounselLink data to help manage key initiatives. So today I want to take a little time to make sure that you can see just what a fantastic dashboarding tool that we have now available to you. So in a minute, I'm going to show you a couple examples of dashboards that are used to manage two of the initiatives that you can see listed on the screen in front of you. And I would encourage you to think about whether any of these initiatives are relevant to your departments, or if there are others, if you have other initiatives that are not on the list that I have here. And if so, a management dashboard to track your progress towards the goals could help both in meeting your goals, but also in getting others in the department finally engaged and starting to use information for decision making. All right, this is a screenshot of a custom dashboard created for a customer who has recently established a panel of 5 preferred providers, and they've set a goal of having 80% of matters and 80% of outside counsel spending be associated with those 5 firms. So good dashboards are designed so that it's easy for users to gain a quick visual understanding of situations that may require a lot of different data points. So in this case, the left-hand side of the dashboard shows the percentage of matters by count, so the number of matters, and the right-hand side shows the percentage of spending, or the dollars that are being invoiced and approved. Each of the colors, the brighter colors, represents one of the 5 firms that are part of their preferred panel. I've kind of hidden the legends so I don't share the actual names of this customer's preferred panel firms. And then the gray portion of each bar represents non-preferred firms. So now if I were actually in the application hovering over any of the sections on this dashboard and not showing you a screenshot, I would see percentages and the actual number of matters, the dollars of the matters if I were looking at the right-hand side. And also the dashboard has a separate tab that lists all the new matters that are not assigned to preferred providers. So for example, if I were concerned about the last office or the practice group listed here, the operations practice group, because they have a large portion of gray, meaning they have a large number of matters that are not being assigned to preferred providers, I could easily just flip to a list of those matters, and then I could see which non-preferred law firms those matters were actually being assigned to. So it makes it an even more powerful management tool for me. So this dashboard has provided, I would say, at least 2 important benefits to this legal department. I wanted to share that success with you to give you some ideas. First of all, the legal operations group had been manually compiling this information, or pulling it through different reports and comparing it against their list of preferred providers. And it took many hours for them to do, and it didn't, even if they could get the data pulled together, which they could, of course, it just took some time, but it didn't result in a compelling display of the progress toward the goal, like a dashboard like this does. And now they have that information at their fingertips. They don't have to do any work to get it, and it's shown in a compelling way. And then secondly, every department head, or every head of each office in this legal department is now engaged in this effort, in the preferred provider initiative. And in part, it's because they know that the general counsel is looking at this dashboard on at least a monthly basis. And the result of that is they're interested. They're paying attention to it as well, which is certainly one of the goals of sharing this sort of information. I'm highlighting a few other things that that showcase some of the things about the dashboard. And as we said when we started, we'll be sending you these, or these slides will be available to you so that you can look at that in a little bit more detail. But I want to turn now to some of the benefits, and I think that the screenshot that I just shared actually clearly illustrates the first two benefits that are listed on this slide. Pictures and graphs tell stories, and that is always much more interesting than a report of just raw data. And having the results and the goals displayed on one page is, I'm sure as most of you here, it's what management always prefers, right? That's what they ask for. They want to see what they need to know on one page. And then since I shared a screenshot rather than demoing the dashboard live, and I had to do that because otherwise I would have been sharing some confidential information, I know you can't really get a feel for the other three benefits that are listed here that relate to how you can interact with the data. But to get an understanding of just how interactive the dashboards are for the users, I encourage you, if you haven't already, to open up the legal spend dashboard. And so you all have access to that. It's a standard dashboard. And just spend a few minutes playing with it, and it will demonstrate this flexibility, the ease of use, the things that you can hover over to get more information. Now I'll turn to a separate example, a separate dashboard. This one is about diversity. And so because we at LexisNexis have a high degree of interest in promoting diversity in our industry, and we want to support the customers who share this interest with us, we are creating a standard dashboard like this one that you will, you don't have it yet, but you will all have access to this one as well. So this dashboard is similar to the one I showed you a minute ago in that it uses that horizontal stacked bar chart, and it shows things on a percentage basis. So the format should be familiar to you by this point. In this case, the left-hand side shows the percentage of hours billed by gender, and the right-hand side shows hours billed by different race categories. So by having this visual image, it's easy to see which law firms, first of all, are providing diversity data in CounselLink, as the gray section of the bar means that they haven't provided that information. And it's also easy to see which of the firms have greater diversity for the timekeepers who are actually billing to your corporation. So if this has prompted any ideas, we hope it has, and gotten you excited about dashboards. If it's prompted thoughts about initiatives that you may have in your department and you're wondering or thinking that maybe a dashboard might support helping you meet those goals, please contact your account manager. Feel free to reach out to me directly if you prefer. Either way is fine. If we worked with you to build a custom dashboard, we would both recommend an optimal visualization or the visual, in case that it's more than one visualizations to support your goals, and also develop the dashboard for you as well. And we have established some standard fixed price packages for dashboards that we think are attractive and that should make it easy for you to have at least one dashboard that directly supports your department's objectives. So we encourage you to contact us if you would like to at least explore the opportunity to do this.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Chris. And thank you also to Dustin and Amy for that really good peek inside of what promises to be a really exciting change to the CounselLink experience that's going to provide you with the reporting insight that you need to be able to meet your goals. We will address your questions in a moment, so please go ahead and submit your questions using the questions box. And as you do that, I'd like to provide you with a few reminders. Links to everything that we are reviewing will be included in the PowerPoint presentation, and that will go out with the webinar follow-up materials in the next 7 days. The launch of the reporting support program is just one of the opportunities that you'll have to optimize your operations and profit using CounselLink in the coming months. We're now offering free monthly customer-focused webinars and newsletters as well. So you'll look for things like application tips and tricks, product spotlights, and business best practices, and they'll all be delivered to your inbox. To ensure that you're part of the Connect with CounselLink community, update your communication preferences and join the CounselLink LinkedIn group today. Also, Chris, if you could go to the next slide. Stay tuned for more information on how to stay continuously engaged with a dedicated team of top system consultants, trainers, and report writers in our professional services organization all year long. Partner with them to solve your biggest challenges, and you'll get more information coming to your inbox in the next week or two. Now, what we'd like to do is we have a little bit of time left for Q&A at the end. And so we have a couple questions that have come in. I'm going to take a few for each person, for each presenter. And Dustin, I'll start with you. We had a question come in. What if I'm not sure if my issue is specifically a reporting issue? Who do I contact in that case?
Okay. Yeah. If you're not sure where the ticket should go, I guess my best solution would be just send it in. We have created some very good channels of communication between the customer care groups, so that if the L2 group gets a ticket, that should actually be with reporting help, or vice versa. We have a quick process to hand that off. So I would say probably if you're unsure, just take your best guess at it, but at least get the ticket in, because we can't help you if we don't have the ticket.
Great. And Dustin, I have one more question related to customer care. Or a reporting question I think you could answer. In regards to shared reports, this person would like to know if they can they move their reports into that folder themselves?
Unfortunately, you will not be able to move those yourselves. The reason being is that these folders are truly locked down. Now, there is an updates folder that is found within your client's shared folder. You do have users will have full access to be able to modify and move reports within the updates folder, but in the main shared reports folder, users are locked down again to preserve the integrity of any of the reports that are already in there. Anything that's God forbid, a paid custom report is in there and somebody goes in, modifies a filter, now throws the entire report off. So you will not be able to move the reports into the shared reports folder itself, but a quick email letting us know the report name, the old location and the new location, and we'll have it moved for you in no time.
Great, thanks, Dustin. And Amy, I have a question regarding reporting classes that a few people have had. Can anyone attend those free reporting classes that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, anybody can attend those, even people that have never reported, people that have reported before. If you have a reporting license or not, feel free to join those classes. And what I'll also say is, just kind of harkening back to the last answer that Dustin just gave, is if you want to find out about how to save these reports, where you can save them, how to modify those standard ones, what are some good standard reports to start with, that is what we cover in those classes. And it gives you a really great base for working and beginning to work with those reports. So yes, anybody can log on to LexisNexis University and sign up for one of those classes.
Great, thank you, Amy. And Chris, we'll end with one question for you. The question is, what kind of dashboards are other customers using?
Yeah, I think that primarily, so I would say that in the past, the dashboards that have been used by our customers are usually to track results of a set of KPIs or key performance indicators, a set of metrics that they are interested in tracking to check their performance against. So that's I would say, a fairly common and a great use of a dashboard. Now I think more commonly we're seeing dashboards being used to manage a specific initiative, right? Just like the two examples I showed today, whether it be diversity or a preferred panel program or one of the other initiatives that I listed as likely candidates for it as well.
Excellent. Well, we're right at 2:45, and so I want to go ahead and respect everyone's time. And so that's going to conclude today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. And as you exit, a brief survey will appear. And we really appreciate your feedback about today's webinar, and we'd love suggestions for future webinar and newsletter topics. So everyone have a great afternoon. Thank you.